and welcome once again to The Verdict. I'm Mick Cornett along with Kent Meyers. We're here every week meeting interesting people and dealing with topical issues, and we welcome in a good friend, Raul Font, to the show.
Yes, Dr. Font was good enough to come join us for this show, and we were really excited. He's going to talk about some of the things he's engaged in now, and we think the viewers are going to gather a good bit of information that'll be useful.
Well, I can't think of a single person in Oklahoma who's been more involved with Hispanic issues than Dr. Font. I dealt with him as the mayor of Oklahoma City, and of course he's also involved in Tulsa and around the state. Should be an interesting show, and it's all coming up today in The Verdict, so we'll hope you'll stick around.
My middle name is Warrior, and I try to be a Chickasaw warrior because they stand for unconquered and unconquerable. I just try my hardest and never give up. I am Tommy Warrior Carney, I'm a wrestler, and I am Chickasaw.
Attaboy, keep going! I couldn't tell you how many times I've watched the boy be down by a point or 2 points and pull the match out.
That's third! When I grow up, I'm going to go to OSU and then go to the Olympics.
Now finish it! I think that's a lot of the secret to his success is he just keeps coming. He doesn't quit. He's going to try to beat you with everything that he has. But when it's done, he always wants to hug his opponent and shake his hand.
My name, Tommy, means ray of light because my dad's name is Ray, and he's in heaven, and the ray of light is shining on me. It just makes me try my best and be the ray of light.
See more stories about the Chickasaw people at profilesofanation.com.
One of the best kept secrets about the post 9/11 GI Bill benefit is that it can be used at a trade school or a technical school, and it doesn't have to be used at a university or college. These are benefits that the veterans have earned through their service, and they should take advantage of it.
Veterans really need to understand that there are many resources offered by the Oklahoma Department of Veteran Affairs. They're there to help you find the right school for you, the school that will help you and your family make great steps into your future.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Meyers. Kent's going to introduce today's guest.
Well, as we talked about in the open, our guest today is Dr. Raul Font. He is the president of the Latino Community Development Agency. Dr. Font grew up in Chicago as a youngster. He moved to Puerto Rico thereafter. Played Division I college basketball until he tore up his knee, and that was the end of the basketball career. He did his undergraduate work in Puerto Rico, did his master's degree work in education at the University of Central Oklahoma, and got his PhD in education from the University of Oklahoma. He's been involved in the school systems in Moore and Oklahoma City for many years, and recently has transferred, I guess, most of his time or effort into the Latino Community Development Agency, which is what we want to talk to him about today. He began his work there in 2015. Dr. Font, welcome. Sure glad to have you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, and it's an honor for me to be here on your program today.
And you sat down and said you wanted to make an explanation about your no-shave November look there.
Yeah, sure. I'm not depressed, and I don't need any therapy. It's basically No Shave November, and it's to honor and bring attention to prostate cancer.
Well, thank you for that.
You bet.
And let's let our viewers know a little bit more about you. Kent mentioned in the bio that you spent some time in Chicago as a kid.
You bet. Well, born in Chicago, in a little Latino community. Mm-hmm. Really didn't speak any English until I went to school. Street kid, parents that believe that kids should be born and raised in the streets, and lucky enough, I was there without any major issues. After a little while, 10, 11 years old, it was time to go back home to Puerto Rico. And so we went to Puerto Rico, and believe it or not, I dropped out of school in sixth grade. Decided that school was not for me. And of course, there's always a basketball coach around somewhere. Gave me a basketball, changed my life. Told me in order for you to calm down, you need to bounce that ball. I bounced it a lot because I was always mad. And came back into school and decided to walk on to a Division I college and play basketball, and wanted to give back to the same community that I received from, and became a teacher.
Were you frustrated as a kid? Were you angry? What emotions do you remember?
Well, it's more, you grow up in a single parent home, and you see everybody with moms and dads and nurturing, and I thought that I was missing something, and I now understand a lot of the kids that we serve in our community. And after I saw that what a kid could go through, I know that I have to do something to avoid that void in some of these individuals, kids, grown-ups, whatever it is. And so I dedicated my whole life to the kids nobody wants.
Well, let's back up a little bit. Your education. Basketball, I assume, got you into a university. What happened then?
Well, you don't know what you don't know until you leave where you live. So no one in our community ever went to college. No one in our community knew what college was about. And all of a sudden, I have this opportunity to leave my community and benefit from a skill that I learned in that community. And therefore, I wanted many other people to do the same. I didn't know how to give back, but I sure knew that I needed to do something and not forget where I came from. And so going to college and declaring a major that I could come back into a school and make a difference with kids, and then also do what I liked the most, which was playing basketball. You coach and you help kids. That's what you do.
And you became an educator.
Yes, and so coaches are educators. That's what we do. And I realized when I left Puerto Rico and came to Moore, Oklahoma, that maybe there was more than just being a teacher, and that maybe you could impact more kids by being a school administrator.
What drew you to Moore?
Well, my wife then was recruited by Tinker Air Force Base in Puerto Rico. She's an engineer by trade. And I sure knew that I didn't want to bring up my kids in the East Coast. I was lucky I got out of there in one piece. You still see the problems that Chicago has. Southside Chicago, that's exactly where I grew up. And so 1981, Oklahoma, booming state, why not? That's what brought me to Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I assume you look back fondly at those years as an administrator?
I really do, and actually I miss it. And we work a lot, our agency works a lot with our school system, and I think I would, in a heartbeat, go back if it's the right situation. But then I had an opportunity to, when I finished my PhD program, to be a kind of a sponsor for a lot of the superintendents and principals, because I taught the doctoral level courses for those superintendents and principals, not only in Oklahoma, but when I went to Houston, there was a Stephen S. Austin branch out there, and so I taught there for 4 or 5 years. So I've had an opportunity to prepare the future of administrators.
Well, how did you get involved with the development agency?
Well,
Latino Community Development Agency.
It's very interesting because about in the late 80s, I was working with the State Department of Education, and I was in several boards that realized that there was a growing community of population in our community that was not being attended to. And so several of us leaders in these boards that we decided to approach the United Way of Central Oklahoma and say, there is a group that's not been served there. Could we make some type of agency that could serve them socially? And from there, the United Way provided us with a $49,000 grant. We hired a president and CEO that had social work experience. She defaulted to what she knows the best, Pat Fennell, and Pat decided to write grants in the social work help and assistance. And here we are today, I was a founding board member and never thought I would come back full circle and be the president of this organization.
How many thousands of people have received benefits or services through the LCDA?
Well, we're on our 29th year. We average about
Wow.
50,000 per year.
What's your geographic impact? Is
Well,
it just Oklahoma City, or is it
We
the state
started
of
with
Oklahoma?
Oklahoma County,
Yeah.
and you see, we have been pulled to Tulsa. There's a growing community of Latinos in Tulsa, and we already are certified to bring our work here to Tulsa. But we are in every county. We go to Lawton, we go up there to the Panhandle, and wherever there's Latinos, and actually it's not only Latinos, we serve anyone that walks through our doors, but primarily Cleveland County, Oklahoma County.
Mm-hmm. Tell us, just with as much detail as you'd like, what is the mission of the Latino Community Development Agency?
Okay, so basically it's to enhance the quality of life of the person that walks through that door. Of course, Latino in nature is our target. We have 80-some employees in our agency. Maybe we assemble maybe the highest amount of therapists and counselors in the state in our building. We have over 54 licensed and certified counselors in all sorts of areas. Unfortunately, in the areas where it's more needed, but unfortunately it's because we haven't taken care of the prevention part that we see domestic violence, and we see drug rehab, and we see all sorts of malices that are in our community. And so we do that by having 4 major programs and directors. We have a prevention, we have a treatment program, we also have an education, and we also have health. So among those 4 pillars, if I may, we have 26 programs. And unfortunately enough, all the major amount of funding that we have is in treatment, when I think we should have it in prevention.
But you have approximately 50,000 folks that you serve every year.
That we touch somehow.
Yeah.
And with us, we have a partner inside our building. That's the OU Medical Clinic. It's a pediatric clinic. So 0 to 18, we serve them there. We also have a senior center. So we have the later part of our lives, and then in the middle, everything else that walks through that door. So it's a total wraparound.
We're going to get to a break. Our guest is Dr. Raul Font with the Latino Community Development Agency, serving Latinos statewide in Oklahoma. We'll be back with more after this.
OU Law has a history and heritage that are unparalleled. At the University of Oklahoma College of Law, we empower our students to pursue the career of their dreams. We have the highest U.S. News ranking ever achieved by an Oklahoma law school. We are the first law school in the country to launch a college-wide digital initiative. And this year, our competition teams rank number 2 in the nation. OU Law, generations of excellence, limitless possibilities.
The good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. A place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. Developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Meyers, and our guest is Dr. Raul Font with the Latino Community Development Agency, serving Latinos throughout the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, Dr. Font, in the first part of the segment of the show with you, you mentioned the 4 pillars that guide your organization and where they want to try to make an impact. Would you mind repeating those for me and our viewers? And then let's take the first one and talk about it.
Okay, so we again have 4 major pillars that we embark our services in, and one is education, and the other one is prevention, treatment, and health.
Okay, let's start with education.
Okay, so education. We have maybe the only 0 to 3 early childhood center in the state of Oklahoma. It's 3-star NACE accredited, which is the highest accreditation you could receive in the nation. Tony Reyes was a board member that perished in the bombing, and he was very into the early childhood program. We thought that we would honor him and his family by doing a child care, and we have received multiple awards, not only statewide but nationally, about our early childhood program. Very well sponsored by Sunbeam Family Services, a program that has that's second to none really in the state. We prepare young kids to be ready for school. That's what we do with that program. We have also added a program to help the kids in crisis in the school systems. So we work with almost all the metropolitan area schools on leadership with our kids, but also with those kids that are struggling because of issues that are happening at home, be it social issues, personal issues. And so we send our therapists to the schools with the permission of the school system to work with them and their families. We actually, in that program, also had, there was a 2015 superintendent of schools in Oklahoma City that said that they had suspended more Latinos and African Americans than any other system per capita in the United States. I, of course, called them and said, we have the services here for those kids. Sending them home is not going to be the right answer. You send me home every time I do something, I guarantee you I'll push that button all the time. And so they let us bring that program to us. Half of the day they were doing their academics. The other half they were seeing our therapists. So if Raul was sent in there short-term suspended because he was dealing with drugs and alcohol, then he saw our drug and alcohol counselors. If he was there because he was mad at the world, then he saw our anger management. We taught these kids to de-escalate and work within the system. We saw over 300 of those kids that year, and 84% of those kids never got in trouble again.
Wow.
So the program works.
Well, absolutely.
Unfortunately, the school
how
system
involved are you in that curriculum? Because I would think with your life experiences, you'd have something to offer.
I love it. I mean, I feel more comfortable among that type of individual that needs it, because I needed it as well, and I know what it took to get out of it. I mean, you could continue. It's also you as an individual saying, I want to quit pointing the fingers to everybody, and I need to take some responsibilities. So the program was basically for middle school and high school students. And so it was an excellent program, and that's the capacity that we have. So now we do that at Crutcho, we do that with the charter schools, we do that with Oklahoma City Schools, with the Putnam City District. And now we also have approached the Tulsa Public Schools to do the same as well.
And you mentioned prevention and treatment. How do those work hand in hand?
Well, prevention is the parents as teachers. One of our best programs. Now we are the only blue ribbon national program in receiving a 90% or higher on their certification. So parents as teacher then works very well with our education programs and our Tony Reyes program, because it goes to the homes and help the parents that are struggling with their kids, because the kids are 2 nationalities and they don't know which one to be, or because they are not doing well in school, or because they miss one of their parents, or because they are involved in gangs, or whatever the situation is. The parents are struggling because they don't know how to raise a teenage kid. That parents as teachers, and we see over 400 of these families, we go there and help the parents navigate through this process. Not only do we help them navigate, but sometimes you know how these parents take their kids out of school so they could go to Social Security or to go to whatever agency they need to do. We go with them. So that prevention program helps the parents in many ways. Beside the parents as teachers, then there's also a safe care program under that, which is again to help kids that are in crisis. And so there are about 18 employees there. All of them have some sort of either degree in psychology, degree in sociology. They have certifications to be licensed therapists, and that's what that program does. And it really, it's a wraparound support system for parents.
To what extent is a language barrier an issue with which you have to deal?
It is, and sometimes the parents could speak English, but if they know that there's somebody that speaks Spanish, it defaults to Spanish because they feel that there's a culture issue as well, and that we, the employees there, understand the culture. It's very interesting. We talk about a story. They were telling us what makes LCDA different from other agencies like that serve our kids, like Hope and Sunbeam. And it says when you walk through our doors, it smells like Fabuloso. Fabuloso is the Latino cleaning device, just like Lysol or Mr. Clean, you know. And so that is the first thing that comes there. And if you have a kid in your hands, I will guarantee you one of our staff members will take them out of your hands and start talking to them, and you hear the music and you see the soap operas in Spanish. So you're welcome, it's home. And I think that makes a difference. It puts the person in a relaxed stage. So that's the prevention program. The treatment program, unfortunately, any type of program, and we have over 13 programs under that treatment program.
Oh, really?
We just have now made a agreement with the drug court. And so if a drug Oklahoma County drug court system, if there is an inmate or, a person that has been convicted of a felony or misdemeanor that has to do with drugs and alcohol, they're sent to us in lieu of going to jail. And so there is a group of our therapists that are specialized in working and counseling with these individuals, and they have to go to court and help and tell the judge the progress that these individuals have made. And so that's one of our programs there. We also have a celebrating families. Mm-hmm. So we have 16 sessions, one every week, where you bring the whole family that's struggling. Because how many of our families sit together and have dinner at the end of the day? And it's very interesting to see the first module, they come in and they have to leave their telephones and their cell phones. And these kids are freaking out that I'm not going to have my phone for about 2 hours, right? And so now for the first time, for many of these families, they sit together, mom, dad, and all the kids, and have dinner together.
We've got about 45 seconds left.
Okay.
What can the people at home do to help you? I know you have a capital campaign
Sure.
that you want to promote.
So basic two things. If you have family or individuals that are out there that are struggling, it doesn't matter if they speak Spanish or English, and you feel that they need to be sent somewhere that they could receive some assistance, please send them to us. And we are on 10th Street and Walker South in the city, and we will be here in Tulsa soon.
And if people are in a position to give larger amounts of money,
please,
it'd be very
capital
helpful.
Campaign, our website will be on the screen at some point in time, and we would really appreciate, because that helps us expand our programs.
All right. Dr. Font, thanks for coming on the show, and thanks
You're
for
welcome.
you and your staff for all the great work they do in Oklahoma.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Thank you.
Kent and I'll have a final word when we get back.
It used to be okay in teachers' lounges. It used to be okay in maternity wards. It was okay in sporting arenas, college campuses, and office spaces. But now that we understand the deadly dangers of secondhand smoke, that's not okay anymore. So why is it okay that thousands of employees are exposed to it every day at work? Bottom line, it's not okay. Let's protect hardworking Oklahomans. Join the fight at stopswithme.com.
All children deserve a life of hope and love. but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
You will always be mom and dad to me.
We are a very conservative family, and we believe in old-fashioned family values. We have a loving home there, and we love kids, and we have 5, 6 of our own. And but had no idea we were going to go into adoption, but it's been very gratifying.
You will always be mom and dad to me.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Meyers, and our guest today was Dr. Raul Font with the Latino Community Development Agency.
Yeah, Dr. Font really had some great information about what they're doing at the agency, and it's something that really serves our Oklahoma City and statewide community in ways that are not being served otherwise, and they certainly deserve our support.
He's an inspirational person,
he is,
too.
He is.
He admitted growing up on the streets of Chicago, and you can infer anything you like, but you know he's come a long way, and now that he's a doctor and running a large organization.
Yes, he's excelled at every level of life so far, and he's offering a lot to our community.
We have a website for the LCDA that you can go to and get more information, or perhaps provide them with some help. Their website is lcdaok.com. That's lcdaok.com. And we have a website here at The Verdict. We'd love for you to log on and tell us about a guest you'd like to see or a topic you'd like to see us discussed. That website is theverdict.tv. That's going to do it for this week's show. For Kent Meyers, I'm Mick Cornett. Thanks to Dr. Font for coming on, and we'll see you next week right here on The Verdict.